不要，就他打人，你看嘛。不要哭啊！不要哭。打人了！打人了！拉了拉了！哎呀！
Over here.
Pretty iconic.
Yourself.
That's pretty iconic.
Yeah, the guy who was handcuffed and, you know, they were beating him up and he managed to escape. That guy? Yeah. Well, guys, we're going to get into this. This is a huge event that's happened in China over the past week.
I just want to clarify here. This event that happened is a full-on story. It's almost like a murder mystery.
Yeah.
It is.
It is. Yeah.
And it turned into basically a revolution.
Yeah.
It was insane.
So let's get this straight. I wanted to read this to everybody because
Sure.
this is the timeline, okay? It was a bit murky, but we managed to figure it out.
Yeah, it was a puzzle.
On January 2nd, a 17-year-old senior high school student died at the Vocational Education Center in Pootsmann County, Weinan City, Shanxi Province. The official report stated that the student fell from a high altitude and died, ruling out a criminal case. Okay?
Okay, that's usually what they do. I can attest to that.
Yes, exactly. At 3 a.m., so this is how it worked. On 3 a.m. on January 2nd, the school teacher called the family of the deceased and asked them to go to the school immediately. After arriving at the school, the family was prevented from seeing the body and was not told what happened. Okay, 3 a.m. So you get this call at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, you got to get here straight away.
Right.
You know? They get there and then they're like, you can't see the body. So they obviously told them that someone's dead, that their son is dead. They're like, you can't see the body.
Oh, remind me later, I have a spooky part of that.
Yeah.
And talk to the mom.
Yeah. And they weren't told what was happened, right? I mean, that's devastating.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what happened next in the timeline. At 7 a.m. on January 2nd, the school informed the family that the student had died. So they got there. They still didn't know what was going on.
No.
It was only at 7. So they got there at like 3 a.m. or whatever.
Right.
They were like, no, you can't see your son. We're not going to tell you what's happened.
Yeah.
At 7 a.m., they informed the family that the student had died. The family asked to view the surveillance video, but was told that the surveillance system was broken. The family was not allowed to take photos at the scene for evidence.
Okay.
Okay, so how often has this happened to you in China when something goes wrong, like something gets stolen, you know, you need the footage every single time. They just don't want the hassle and they're like, oh, it didn't work.
Every time.
Every time. It's every single time. Every single time something was stolen, like a bicycle or whatever.
Anyone.
Yeah.
Any problem.
Yeah, you know, our friend's motorcycle was stolen. Remember that? Try to get the footage. No, sorry.
Doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
Broken.
It's the easiest way to prevent hassle because they know they've got it on camera, but they don't want to have to produce it and do police reports or whatever. So they're like, no, it doesn't work. Right? Okay. So the parents are not allowed to take photos or anything on the scene. Okay. So on January 2nd, family members and some insiders revealed that the deceased had bruises on his neck, but no signs of injury on his head. And suspected that the cause of death was related to bullying. Some students reported that the dormitory had a power outage and their mobile phones were confiscated on the night of the incident. And the school subsequently asked students to delete related videos and chat records.
Yikes.
So they turned the power off in the dormitories.
Wow.
Because you got dormitory on campus there.
Yeah.
This incident happens. The school turns the power off and tells everyone to delete any videos and chat records of the incident.
That's not weird.
No, that's a cover-up.
Yes.
Okay?
And this is pretty early on, right? This is the first day.
This is on the first day. Because obviously people were talking about it, right?
That makes sense.
So they're like, no, we can't have that. Since January 4, the family of the deceased and the public started to gather at the school gate to protest, demanding a reasonable explanation from the school and the government. The number of protesters gradually increased.
So basically what happened is this kid died, they tried to cover it up, and 2 days later, people start showing up at the gate.
Yes.
And they're protesting, but it's only a few people.
Well, yeah, it keeps gaining strength,
it's
strength
like
on
snowballs,
strength.
right?
Yeah, exactly. So then what happened next is late in the evening of January 5th, the authorities released a joint investigation team report stating that the deceased died from falling from a high altitude and no criminal case was involved. The report did not mention key issues raised by the family, such as the damaged surveillance system, the students' injuries, and the school's behavior. On the morning of January 6th, protests escalated. Now, something that I should mention is on the evening of January the 5th, they arrested the uncle of the deceased.
Yeah.
Because they, he was part of the
He was part of the
protest.
group,
Yeah,
right?
it's part of the group, and they were like, "You're causing this," so they arrested him, which made
Remember,
it even worse.
In China, you're not allowed to protest.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
illegal.
On the morning of January 6th, the protests escalated with tens of thousands of people gathering to demand the truth, and the police cracked down.
So that happened by January 6th. You had a few people turn into basically tens of thousands.
Yeah,
of
up
people.
to 100,000 people were there. It's insane, right? The police cracked down. Video footage from the scene showed that some students and citizens were treated violently, a female student being beaten to a bloody head and a male student's face covered in blood. Citizens accused the police of behaving like gangsters.
This is China.
We're going to show this to you.
You guys always whine. Never mind.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
So during the night of January 5th, the uncle of the deceased was arrested. I've already mentioned that. I just needed to put it in. So this is the night, and they're saying, like, release him. That's what they're shouting.
Fire means release the person.
Yeah.
We've obviously captured it. So just one potential murder here. We have tens of thousands, up to 100,000 people.
Yeah. So now the next day, on January the 6th, you've got people gathering around, and they're demanding answers at this point. Yeah. They're not trying to do anything else. They just want an explanation.
And I do want to say this.
Yeah.
This is a symptom of the unrest and that's fomenting just beneath the surface in China right now. The economy is in shambles. People are not allowed to say or do anything because I live in an authoritarian dictatorship that is not delivering on the promise of them being able to earn money.
Yeah.
And they're covering up bad things that are happening all the time, and they've had enough.
Yeah, that's right. Let's take a look.
Like the people up on the roof. That's
it's crazy.
Wow, that got massive.
Yeah. So I've got another thing that's going to pop up over here. So the core questions. Why was the surveillance system broken? Because we all know it wasn't. We're going to find out in a minute it actually wasn't. Was the surveillance footage during the critical time period of the incident rarely damaged? Why was it not repaired or provided with relevant evidence in a timely manner? The deceased injuries were inconsistent with the cause of death. The deceased had no head injuries but bruises on his neck. Why was the report determining that he died from falling from a high altitude?
I want to throw in one thing here that I heard. This is rumor, but it could be true.
Yeah.
Apparently, the body was cremated before the family could really dive into it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, don't know about that, but yeah, that would make sense to me.
That's what I was hearing.
Yeah. Was the school's handling of the matter appropriate? Why were the family members prevented from seeing the body and taking photos? Why were the students required to delete the videos and chat records? Rumors online about the officials' background say that the parents of the student involved are local officials. There's a possibility that they interfered with the investigation. Why are social voices suppressed? Because, of course, this was deleted, right? Why are posts deleted and information blocked? Are the authorities suppressing public opinion and covering up the truth?
So this is the crazy part, is that people are suspecting the kid, there's potentially the kid that murdered the other kid, is actually a CCP member's son.
Yeah, which happens.
It happens all the time.
Okay, so now what's happening is... Yeah, sorry. You can see the amount of police cars, buses, or vans turning up in the background, okay? Because now the gathering gets bigger and bigger as people start, talking about this. You see they deployed hundreds of police officers, by the way.
Right.
Or what do they call them? Stability management personnel?
Yes.
Is that the right word?
Yep.
As you can see, they're all rolling in there. A lot of them. And of course, there's a lot of tensions. People want to get in. They're like, look, we still don't have our answers. We need our answers. Why is nobody telling us what's going on? And of course, the fact that Communist Party officials and corruption is involved has fueled this even more. People are
it's funny. Apparently, the school party office, the party officials of the school, were actually shocked that people didn't just take their excuse verbatim. Yeah, they didn't think they were going to ask any questions.
Yeah, when they said, you fell from a height.
Yeah, they were like shocked. They didn't understand.
Yes,
because you're not allowed to question authority, right?
Yes, exactly. So, you've got all these people, all this tension. They want to get in. And then things kind of started to kick off, which you'll see in a minute here. Just wanted to show you the scope of the people. Look how many people there are there. It's just incredible. There's a drone up in the air. I wonder where that drone footage is. That's probably the government, actually.
Yeah, for sure. That would be the government.
Yeah, the government seeing should we send in the tanks? You
Yep.
know, that type of thing.
Tank time.
Yeah, tank time.
Or,
Yeah, maybe not.
should we pull it in 1989?
Yeah,
or-
exactly. And then they were like, okay, fine, we're going to bust in because nobody was listening to them. So they broke through the gates.
They gave the people nothing.
Yeah.
No explanation.
Nope. So, they broke through the gates, as you can see here. And that's when the police started to do what Chinese police do a lot, which is, you'll see in a minute.
Let me just say, people talk about police brutality in the U.S. You ain't got nothing on China. You ain't got nothing.
No, not at all.
Nobody talks about that, though.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Before it all kicked off, after they broke into the gates, some of the students rushed into the school and
Yeah.
found the surveillance system.
Yes. Because they kept saying it was broken.
Yeah.
So the student says, it's broken, huh? It's broken, huh?
Because it works perfectly fine. So the students who rushed into the teaching building found that the surveillance camera was not broken, the surveillance system.
Yeah.
The school had previously refused to provide the surveillance video of the incident on the grounds that the surveillance camera was broken. But it's not broken. So they found, you can see the date up there, it's the 6th on the screen, and the cameras are working fine.
Yes.
They obviously deleted the footage.
Yes.
That's all. So it was working fine. So then now they find out that it's been working fine. That adds more fuel to the fire.
Then that gets out to the people.
Yep. And so the police start doing what they do. They start grabbing people, singling out people, dragging them off. Okay.
Disappearing them. Some of them get beaten.
Oh, some people got beaten pretty badly.
Yeah, we don't even want to say.
Yeah,
what
exactly.
probably
And
because you can tell.
yeah,
in
we
the
actually
uncensored footage.
we actually had to censor the footage. There's a lot of stuff we can't show because YouTube won't allow us to show. The blood.
Not that that's necessary anyway.
No, we don't.
Yeah,
You know that's why this is in black and white because obviously she's covered in blood. We can't show that on YouTube, and so we're not going to. But you can get the idea of what's going on here because they were, for instance, you can see the cops in the background have grabbed someone and they're doing a.
It's like 12 on 1.
Yeah.
It's like 20 on 1.
Yeah. Again, police brutality in China is hardly ever called out. People always go like, "What about George Floyd or something?"
All that stuff. Yeah.
It's like, no, this is.
This is in China.
Yeah, this
has
is
nothing
China.
to do with that, and this happens
Yeah.
every day. in
Absolutely,
China.
absolutely. This is the guy who managed to escape. Well, actually, he got rescued by the people because he was being beaten. He'd been handcuffed, and some of the other crowd pulled
They
him
got
out.
him back, yeah.
Yeah, so
But with
I
him.
like that he has "Be Yourself" written on the
It's
back.
kind of awesome.
Yeah, exactly. So look, there was a lot of this stuff going on. Okay, people being beaten up, and then the crowd kind of had enough, and they were like, "Okay, it's time for us to fight back."
We're gonna rise up, yeah.
Yeah.
Chilai.
Yeah.
These are your average Chinese citizens. Yeah.
Yeah.
One little thing can set this all off. That's how tense China is right now.
Yeah. Exactly. There they go.
We didn't add this song.
No.
This is their own protest theme. Like epic, happy, hardcore, like techno. Rise up to the sounds of the DJ.
So I mean,
They overcame the police.
you could see they're pushing back. They were like, "That's enough." They started smashing windows. They were using fire extinguishers to, I guess, attack the police. As you can see, hurling all sorts of projectiles at them.
Yeah.
It was,
100,000 people strong, apparently.
and they got some beat downs on the cops too. In retaliation.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
More so than the other way around, I think.
Maybe.
Just
maybe.
from the footage,
yeah.
at least.
So, it really got out of hand, as you can see here. Apparently, they put someone in the ambulance that they'd arrested.
Oh, they were using that as a way to, like,
Yeah, they'd
take
arrest
people,
yeah.
black bag people.
Yeah, exactly.
China does. They like to black bag people and
Yep.
whisk them off, like the protest leaders and stuff. They'll whisk them away.
Yeah.
You'll never see him.
Maybe it's Bugle Boy in there.
You think Bugle Boy's definitely it? His life's over.
Yeah.
That's the craziest thing is when you see protests in America or whatever, you're not looking at those people saying their life is over.
Yeah.
You're looking at all these people that were like key leaders of this or whatever. Their life's over.
Yeah.
That was their moment.
So this got huge, and it got so out of hand. Of course, the Chinese government suppressed the news about this.
Oh, yeah.
You could not post. These videos that you're seeing now cannot be seen in China.
No.
And they were not seen in China.
And they blanked out even the word Pucheng, the name of the city.
The city, you could not even search the name of the
Chinese
city.
internet.
That's how bad it got.
Yeah.
And they do this a lot, right? So complete media silence, complete blackout on everything. Nobody could know anything. And then they deployed literally thousands of police officers.
Yeah.
And they blocked intersections leading into the city.
Yes.
You couldn't even get in there.
No, that's a good point.
Right?
They blocked the whole city off.
Can you see the traffic backed up all the way down there?
Because you couldn't get in.
Yeah, they actually blocked. And so that happened on the night of January the 6th. And this is the night of January the 6th. They blocked traffic. They blocked intersections. People just had to like sit in a car or whatever, you know? You
not even trying to participate, by the way.
No,
just
just
like
you
what?
cannot-
Because they didn't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. Nobody in China knows what about this.
No, so they're just like, oh, what? We just got to sleep in our car now? What's going on?
Isn't that interesting though? Is that viewers? I'm talking to you, by the way. Give this a thumbs up. Helps out. If you're watching this, you know, like a major event with 100,000 protesters, and people in China don't even know about it.
Dude,
isn't that crazy?
I was speaking to a subscriber who was feeding me live information.
Yeah.
Because his wife is currently in China.
In Pucheng?
No, she's.
okay.
But she's very nearby.
Yeah.
And she didn't know about it.
She had no clue.
She had no clue.
You are privileged, like as an outsider, when you're looking at stuff about China, because the insiders can't see anything.
No, but people were commenting on Weibo when this stuff first came out, but it was immediately deleted. I still have screenshots.
Sure.
I didn't want to share them because it's got his his Weibo ID and stuff in there, so I didn't want to get him into any trouble.
Of course.
But the fact of the matter is, as this was unfolding, people in China had no idea. Okay, and this was the next day on the 7th. They still had all the intersections blocked off. You could not go anywhere near that educational area. They blocked off the entire. This is the next day, as you can see.
Sanitized.
And that's how the Chinese government does it, is they block it all off. They shut everything down.
Get the troops in there.
Nobody can talk. Yeah, they bring in like thousands of police, riot police and that type of thing.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then it's done. It's swept under the rug.
Yeah.
And you won't hear about it ever again.
The takeaway is interesting, though, because although they can deal with, like, for example, we talked about this earlier, they got away with COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Right? COVID is unleashed on the world, killed 10 million people, and they get away with it, and almost no one blames them for it anymore, right?
Yeah.
The cover-up. They got away with the Hong Kong protests.
Oh, yeah.
They shut down the entire place.
Yeah.
Right? And then they dealt with all the people that organized it. Right?
Yeah.
They deal with this. They sweep it up. You know, they get rid of everyone, black bag people, get rid of the leaders, and then sweep it all up, block it off, sanitize the situation, right?
Yeah.
To get away with that. But the thing is that I think is interesting, that the other takeaway is that this is happening so often now, these kind of events. It shows you how much unrest there is right under the surface.
Yes. It's ready to go.
It's a powder keg.
And I mean, look, the way they're dealing with it is the only way they can, because if it were to spread, if people could share this, this would erupt around the entire country all at once, and they would not be able to control it.
You're right.
That's why they have to be so controlling over every single bit of information in China, because if they weren't, they would lose their power.
Yes,
they
100%.
would. You know?
You're absolutely right. You are true.
Anyway, now you know what happened with January 6th in China.
It was on January 6th.
Yeah, and it was crazy.
Watch the results.
Riders, but once was their land. The untamed food of going munching.
Just from like tiny different angles.
Yeah, grab me junk. And then he's like, oh no, he's gonna get me. We have probably the worst vote clip we've ever had. I think
the worst.
I think this is the one that's turned my stomach the most. I don't.
It's soft like cheese.
Don't.
就是普通老百姓，我不是政府的，也是人民。
I don't know, man.